So, as you can see, I got 12 volumes of The Boys. For those of you that are more comfortable with comic book, that's 72 issues. Yeah. Good luck looking for that. But anyway, The Boys. It's actually written by Garth Ennis. Now, you're going to also notice Derek Robertson's name on this cover, but he have had other people work with him for this project. You'll notice that as I go through each volume. Now, originally, I was going to do each volume as a single, but due to the fact that it's 12 volumes, I'm just going to give it to you as a whole. If it's spoilers in there, then tough luck. If it's not, then it's not. I'm not promising anything. But anyway, the whole premise of The Boys that Garth Ennis wrote is, picture a world or the society where superheroes and supervillains actually exist. You know, guys like the Superman, Batman, X-Men, so on and so forth. They actually exist in real time. Now, true in society, what we have in real life going on today is corruption. Not all the time, you know, for example, in our police force or court system. There's always some form of corruption that's going on. But in a world where superheroes and supervillains exist, that's like a different topic, don't you think? Well, anyway, in The Boys, well, the whole idea is, picture a superhero with super strength, and he's battling a villain with super speed. What if that superhero with the super strength punched a guy in the face? He's going to be sent flying. Now, depending on where the impact that he lands at, going to have a grave casualty around pretty much anyone or anything. Let's picture there's a parked car, and inside the parked car was a family of 4 that just left the dentist's office. Now, for anyone that's more interested in the fight will probably just see, oh yeah, the superhero punched the supervillain and he knocked him out. It was awesome. He saved the day. But that family of 4 is dead. And you know the press is not going to, unless, you know, they're trying to get ratings or anything. I'm not trying to say every press is like this, but let's just say they covered it up because a certain faction or company don't want that to be known. Now, because of the death of the 4, let me ask you, who's at fault? Is it the superhero or is it the supervillain? Well, The Boys sort of have this idea where if a superhero comes out of line or try to be more, let's say, an elite or stuck up, so to speak, then you need somebody who's strong enough or tough enough to make sure they don't go out of line or to know their place. Same thing can be said about the supervillains. But in this society, superheroes are actually viewed as celebrities. Good guys, you know, the one that show up for charities, the one that will do anything. But at the same time, in The Boys, they are pretty much manufactured products where they can make money, a company can make money off of them basically. Whether it's to do a show-in, to stop somebody, or to do charity. There's always some form of way to get money. I mean, these superheroes, they don't get left out at all. They do make profit. They can. It's kind of like wrestling. When wrestlers have like t-shirts, maybe comic books, or they catchphrases, they are getting paid for each of those products made for them. Same thing in this world. Now, the idea of The Boys is pretty much, like I mentioned earlier, you need people to make sure the soups, that's short for superhero and supervillain, stays in line. Don't try to cross the line or hurt other people or innocent. Now, the world of The Boys, it's filled with corruption, scandal, money laundering, sexual advances, rape, all that stuff. So, like I'm gonna say this now, I don't recommend little kids reading this. I mean, just to give you guys an idea, see if I remember which one it was. Here we go. Yeah. That's just to give an idea. And here's this one. Now, I don't know how well you guys can read, but let me see if I can get it to focus. Hopefully you guys can read that. If not, basically saying in a world where costume heroes soar through the sky and masked vigilante prowl the night, someone's got to make sure the suits don't get out of line, and someone will. Billy Butcher, Wee Hughie, Mother's Milk, the Frenchman, and the Female are the boys. CIA-backed team of the very dangerous people, each one dedicated to the struggle against the most dangerous force on Earth, superpower. Some superheroes have to be watched, some have to be controlled, and some of them sometimes must be taken out of the picture. That's when you call them the boys. Now, again, I don't know how well you guys can read, but I just read it for you. So that's pretty much the whole premise. And that's what was the selling point of why I went and grabbed these. Because I thought about it, I'm like, this is kind of interesting. Now, it's very graphic and detailed, as I showed from the back of those two covers. And I'm not going to lie, I have mixed feelings of the boys. Now, the first half is actually very funny because it evolved around Wee Hughie, which is this guy right here. He was just a regular, everyday guy, you know, kind of a geek, kind of a nerd, you know, one of those people that's, you know, like, man, there's aliens all over the world and stuff. And he was just spending time with his, well, at the time, girlfriend, which became his fiancée. He proposed and she said yes, and everything was like, well, the best way I can put it is he was happy. I mean, you can tell just by the way it was drawn, the looks in his eyes, he was just like, he was just happy. Then, as he was swinging her around, and her, you know, holding her hand, swinging around, you know, like that, those type of lovey-dovey movies where the guy and his girlfriend, they swing around, swirling, whatever. A supervillain and a superhero, they were fighting at the time, and the guy hit the supervillain, which collided into his fiancée, and he was left standing there with her blood splattered all over his face, still holding her arm that is no longer attached to her body. Yeah. What do you see or say to that? Well, he snapped. Well, he didn't snap in a way where he lost his mind and started going crazy. No, he snapped in a way where he just became broken. Like, words, alphabet, math, everything just didn't make sense anymore. What he once found happiness was just destroyed in front of him. And within those couple of days, all of a sudden, these group of men in these suits wanted him to sign a contract so that way he don't take that superhero to court. He didn't sign, he just kicked him out of his apartment because he was still distraught over the loss of his fiancée. And that's when we're introduced to Billy Butcher. And Billy Butcher, he sort of have his reason why the boys was formed. And I don't want to get too much into that, so that'll give a lot away. But basically, this evolved a lot around Wee Hughie. And a lot of comical things tend to happen to Wee Hughie. I'm not going to lie, I was crying. Some of the stuff had me crying, laughing. Some of it was just like, wow. But as the series got longer, you kind of felt like the story was dragging ass and just becoming a lackluster. It does have some fillers or side stuff, but it's nothing too important. Pretty much it started becoming boring. And then after a while, I'm not gonna lie, I started not, losing interest in the boys. But I kept on, holding up because I wanted to end, pretty much, okay, get to the point because pretty much dragging. Now, as a whole, yeah, I would probably say this would make a good TV show or movie. And I'm not going to lie, I would watch it. I mean, as a whole, it's really good. It has some boring and dragged out parts. That's pretty much, yeah, you will definitely feel it. Now, would I recommend it? Yeah, if you're of age, because like I said, it has some comedy, it has some nudity, it has some aspects of drugs, money laundering, you know, a lot of stuff, pretty much underground stuff. You tend to see the dark side of the superhero, and you see why the boys do what they do. Not just the superheroes, but also the supervillains. And you also see the corruption in different companies that manufacture superheroes as if they're products. But yeah, overall, yeah, definitely would recommend it. But I will, you know, let you guys know it does get boring and it does drag out. And by the time I got to issue, I want to say maybe after this issue or this issue, I don't remember because it's been a while since I read these. I felt like, okay, you gotta seriously speed it up. But overall, I'm not gonna take anything away from Garth Ennis. Everything he wrote felt real, like the type of conversation you will see everyday people have, type of situation that, granted, yeah, funny, that's out of this world, can tend to happen. So, if you're ever interested in The Boys, definitely recommend it. But will give a warning, it does tend to drag and does get boring, and you may want it to end. But the ending definitely sealed the deal. Alright then, later.